Hey, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to the Mike Wagner Show at gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the donate listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We've got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show brings you famous celebrities and amazing people from all over the world. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can also listen to us on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. You can also download on Radio Public, Anchor FM, as well as iTunes, Google, and Google Play and Apple. Also, take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube as well. We're here with a wonderful gentleman from the Carolinas. He's out and about. He's a neuroscience expert and creator of Brain Tap technology. So you're wondering what's that? Well, he'll talk about it in just a minute. He's the author of Thrive and Overdrive, How to Navigate Your Overload Lifestyle, Mind Technology for the 21st Century, and the bestseller, Awaken the Genius. He has a bachelor's degree in holistic health science. He has a master's in NLP in mind-based medicine, and a bachelor to PhD in natural track medicine. So he'll talk about biohacking, brainwaves, relationships, and it's just fascinating. So put on your thinking caps, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go right to our expert, and he'll give you the complete knowledge you can just take home with you and tap into your brains. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Patrick Porter. Dr. Porter, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mike. This is a great opportunity. Thank you.
Well, it's our pleasure. So you're a neuroscience expert and creator of Brain Tap technology, author of Thrive and Overdrive, How to Navigate Your Overload Lifestyle, Mind Technology for the 21st Century, and the bestseller, Awaken the Genius. You have a bachelor's degree in holistic health science, master's in mind-based medicine, and you also create biohacking and what it is and everything else. And before we get into all that, just tapping into the brains and putting on thinking caps, tell us how I got started. This is fascinating.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be the son of an alcoholic, if you can believe that.
Oh,
my dad, being an alcoholic, actually went and got help from a technology called the Silva method. And when he did that, we learned, there were 9 of us. We were a big Catholic family out of Michigan. And my dad taught us all how to use our brains at a very early age. And then when I graduated from college, I got an opportunity to work with a group called Light and Sound Research. And we invented the very first portable light and sound machine back in the 80s. And I've been doing different generations of that ever since. We didn't know it was biohacking back then. We just thought it was a way to get people out of pain, create more focus, concentration, and really just keep the brain at its optimum states.
That is amazing. And let's go into more detail about biohacking. What is it, why it's popular, and what does it mean for the healthcare industry?
Okay, when you think of biohacking, think of our biology and things it does naturally given the right opportunity. Like if we had proper rest, sunlight, nutrition, and we didn't have all the stress that we're under in our daily life, our body, through its innate intelligence, would stay pretty healthy. But what's happened to us, unfortunately, in our day and age, with all the advancements of technology, has also come along a whole new series of stress. We actually call that stress sympathetic survival syndrome. So the body gets patterned after all this stress. Like, for instance, if the listeners are listening on their mobile device, some people have what they even have a new diagnostic term called mophobia, which means you have mobile phone phobia, like you're going to lose your phone and then you lose your life, And so all of these different stressors, we needed a hack for that. And when you think about biohacking and what people call it, is just like in computer world, they can hack a system and, hopefully get it to run faster, better, more efficiently. What David Asprey with Upgrade Labs, who's one of our proponents of Brain Tap, what we do is we actually use the power of light, sound, and vibration to alter the brain so that it can go through a cycle of sleep in as little as 10 minutes. And there's a lot of benefits to sleeping well, which hopefully we'll get into during the call so the listeners know that. But most people, 1 out of 3 people listening to this call actually have a problem with sleep. Mm-hmm. And they don't understand the science of sleep. And it's not how long you sleep. That's a misnomer. It's how deep you sleep. So one of the first biohacks that we do with Brain Tap is teach you to sleep deeper, to get more efficient sleep, and perhaps in less time, but it's not really about the time as much as the depth of sleep, and there's some really physiological reasons for that.
Mm-hmm. And of course, there's a way to biohack your brain with light, sound, and vibration. So you can just take us through the process as well, too. Let's say I'm having problems with sleep and need some biohacking. So let's say you just work with me with the biohacking, let's say when it comes to sleep.
So what's going to happen is our brain follows light, sound, and vibration. And just to give an example to put in perspective, if you and I were to go to the ocean and sit by the beach, we would probably start to relax because the beach is beautiful, the sounds of the waves and the light coming off but the other side of it is science now tells us through something called frequency following response that our brain will actually match the frequency of the ocean. And they know the ocean resonates at 10 hertz frequency, which just happens to be alpha. And when we trigger alpha, we trigger a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. That's the same acetylcholine that gets triggered when you're in love. So when people say they love the ocean, they love the sea, what they're really saying is I love alpha and I love the hit of acetylcholine, which would cost about $15,000 to $20,000 if you could actually find it on the streets. But because our brain, we can hack our brain to get it to do it in real time using the algorithm that we have with Brain Tap. So that's one way to do it. Mm-hmm. And the reason it works for sleep is when we go to sleep, some people can't disengage their brain. And when you can't disengage your brain, you're stuck in a higher frequency, let's say 16 to 18 hertz frequency, which is kind of the frequency if you were to go into the middle of New York City, with all the chaos and stuff that's going on. That's where the brain operates in beta, which we need. It's not a negative brainwave state. It's just that when it's time for sleep, we need to learn to disengage that. We call it the survival brain, and re-engage then your healing brain, which happens when you move through that state into an alpha theta state and then into sleep. Most people don't know this is what they do when they go to sleep. Some people actually go to sleep too quickly. And each one of these brain waves actually triggers the body. The brain-body connection is that there's actually 3 brains, not one. So when we talk about the third brain, there's the gut brain that most people know about, and of course the brain between our ears. But when there's also the heart brain, there's actually 40,000 neurocells in our heart. So we have a brain in our heart that actually communicates to our brain between our ears twice as much as that brain communicates back. So the heart is actually telling it what to do. So if you're stressed out, anxious, worried, and you're trying to go to sleep, then you're not going to get the coherency. So that's why right now one of the gold standards of measuring health is called heart rate variability, because we want to have the variability, which means when it's time to be stressed and work and maybe run because we're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, our body wants to go do that. Mm-hmm. But when it's time, we get back to our cave and we get back to relaxing, we should be able to let that go and be done with it. But unfortunately, what happens is kind of like the story of the 2 monks that are crossing the river, and these are cloistered monks, they're not supposed to be speaking, and there's a woman trying to get across, but there was a flood. So the one monk picks up the damsel in distress, carries it across the river, sets her down, and while they're walking back to the monastery, the other monk that didn't carry her was getting madder and madder. When they finally got inside the monastery, then they could talk again. the monk that didn't carry him said, I can't believe you carried that woman across the water. And the monk that carried her said, I carried her across the water, but brother, you carried her back to the monastery. And that's really kind of the way that our brain works, in that we need to learn to let things go. But the problem is, if we've never been trained to disengage the brain, it's kind of hard to do that. Now, luckily, 2 out of 3 people know how to do this, no problem. But the 1 out of 3 that are having problems, they need to retrain their brain. And that's where this biohacking comes in. So we can literally take the brain down into the sleep cycle. The deep sleep cycle is called delta, which is level 4 sleep. And by the way, listeners, if you're not reaching that level 4 sleep, your brain never detoxes. You heard me right. If you don't reach level 4 sleep, all the toxins continue to build up. You can get headaches, foggy brain. It doesn't work as efficiently. You're moody, crabby, because the brain wants to shut down, but it can't. So what we do is we're going to hack the brain by giving it the right sequence of signals and frequencies, and the brain's going to follow it. And the nice thing is, in our research, that we find that after 3 sessions of doing Brain Tap, 100% of the people going through it, as long as there's nothing organically wrong with the brain, they're going to go ahead and follow that sequence into that state of sleep and get better sleep at night.
That is amazing. How is Brain Tap different than meditation?
Well, they're very similar. The problem is that meditation's great. I love it. I mean, we do a lot of work with Gautama Buddha University in India, and we actually did a research project against 3 of their top meditation processes. And physiologically, by doing all the markers, like how their nervous system responds and how they do it, Brain Tap blew it away because you don't have to do anything, but you're still getting the physiological effects. And the problem is most people don't spend the time learning to meditate correctly, so their frontal lobe doesn't stay active. So we actually have different algorithms that keep that part of our brain needs to stay active during meditation, but focused on something positive. If you could meditate and you did a good job, then that's a biohack in and of itself they've been using since the dawn of recorded history. So I think meditation's great. I just think that most people aren't going to take the time to learn it, and it's too hard for them. They don't get the results they want, so they give up or quit before they start really getting the fruits of their labor.
And of course, you talked about brain waves as well, too. And you also talked about with the brain tapping, relaxing, everything during sleep. And what about people that take, like, say, with sleeping aids like melatonin or over the counter? And or for some people, it's like, some people drink like alcohol or caffeine. How's that going to affect, like with the brain waves?
Well, so let's start first with the alcohol or other drugs. What's going to happen is the brain isn't going to sleep. You're going to think you're sleeping. Even with over-the-counter sleeping medication, you're not getting the restorative sleep that you need. If you did a sleep study, you'd be asleep, but your brain would still be active. It's just you're not aware of it. So the brain isn't getting the healing that it needs. And so the natural thing to do here is to train the brain to do it on its own. So what happens after somebody does brain tapping for a while, they don't need to listen to it at night anymore because their brains learn to sleep again. It's just, think of it kind of like training wheels. Not that they wouldn't want to still do it. I think we have thousands of people every day. We have about 54,000 listenings every day of our app. So we track what sessions people listen to, and our main ones they listen to are insomnia series to help them sleep. So that's the main reason people, I think, choose it. But we have a lot of others. We call it performance mindfulness, because we can help people perform better in other areas. If you sleep deeply, you're going to perform better the next day. That's
amazing. It's interesting you talk about the new mobile app you created for the health and awareness and the Brain Tap Pro. And maybe you can just tell everybody in detail what it does and how can people get the app.
Right. They can go to braintap.pro. They can have a free gift there. They can get a copy of my book, Thrive and Overdrive. We're going to have a little bit of time here talking about it, but they can take a deep dive into it. They download that. In the app, they can get 15 days free on it. They can try it out for themselves. What it's going to do, the app, of course, we can't send the lights with it. If somebody does the research on Brain Tap and sees our headset, which uses lights in the eyes and in the ears, but you're still going to get a very positive effect because the frequencies and sound. So you wear your own earbuds, and what it's going to do is it's going to guide you through these states. And the nice thing is you really don't have to know it. You can just have the experience. So it's kind of like going to an amusement park. I don't need to know how they built the ride. I just want to have a great ride and a great experience. We call it return on experience, ROE. So people want to have a return on their experience, and that's what Brain Tap does. And you don't have to think about it. So we also recommend that if people want to do a little biohacking test on their own, download the app. It's free. You don't have to put your credit card in or anything. Use it for 4 or 5 days. Then don't use it for 2 days and see how you feel.
That's
amazing.
amazing.
You're going to notice. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, you'll be amazed at how your body, because your own physiology, your own neurochemistry is going to go to work. As you go through these different brainwave states, for instance, I talked about acetylcholine, but when you start tapping into theta, you start producing GABA, which is one of the most researched areas right now in pharmaceuticals, because so many people are not sleeping well. They want to try to create GABAnoids, but your body's own body's own chemistry, in other words, is much more powerful than something you get over the counter. So, and you will never have an immunity to it. So if you can create that theta, you're triggering the gut-brain connection to create more theta. You're creating more of this GABA, which is also a very good, they call it the inventive mind, because people will have these spontaneous kind of breakthroughs at this brainwave state. Most of the geniuses that we read about, that's the state that they have thought that they're going to get these like lucid dreams about maybe a problem they're having in their life and a solution comes up, or where Tesla would go to create some of his inventions. Because at that level of the mind, your brain is able to get access to the subconscious. Mm-hmm. So you have this major computer with 100 billion neural bit processor that's now going to work for you to create solutions to your problems.
Now, you talk about dreams as well, too, in biohacking. Now, is there a way to track and interpret the dreams you're having through biohacking?
Well, what's going to happen as you start exploring these realms of whether it be meditation or brain tap, you're going to start awakening that part of the brain. We dream. Everyone dreams. It's just some of us remember them, some of us don't. But when we start to incorporate more of the alpha theta brainwave pattern, we'll start to remember those dreams. So you can then write them down if you choose to and follow them.
That's amazing, too. And what does mainstream biohacking mean for the healthcare industry?
I'm sorry for the...
What mainstream biohacking means, what does it mean for the healthcare industry?
Well, the main thing it means is that we can find natural ways that are... Some of these things they do are, people do them every day. It's just when you do them and how you do them. Like when David Asprey created the biohack to his coffee, the bulletproof coffee, he basically took something they do in the mountains, when he was tired, and they put butter in the coffee, and then he started hacking it, finding a better way to do it. So what it means is that we're going to have homegrown solutions that maybe aren't funded by big pharma, but they're still going to help you get the result you want. The main thing is we know is that if we can remove the interference from the body, like the trauma, toxins, or thoughts that are interfering with health, the body itself, through its innate intelligence, can heal itself. But if we have stress or if there's a damage to the body because of an accident, or if their body is too toxic, carrying a toxic load, that stress on the body is going to inhibit its healing potential. So I think as we hack the body or use this biohacking process, what's going to happen is we're going to clean out the body, get it prepared to heal itself. I think we're already seeing it. So more people spent money on alternative care last year than they did on what we would term main, Wall Street care, if you will, the sick care industry.
Right, yeah, or some people call it big pharma as well, too. And you talked about the brain waves as well, too, and also getting to relationships. We'll talk about the brain waves first, why it's important to be in balance opposed to being out of balance. To listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. take your image to the next level. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Apple, Google Play. Also, take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on YouTube as well. We're here with Dr. Patrick Porter, neuroscience expert and creator of Brain Tap technology. He's author of many books, including Thrive and Overdrive, How to Navigate Your Overload Lifestyle, Mind Technology for the 21st Century, and the bestseller, Awaken the Genius. He has a bachelor's degree in holistic health science and also master's in mind-based medicine and natural track medicine and everything else. We talked about biohacking and, why it's popular, what it is, and what it means to the healthcare industry. We're also going to get into brainwaves as well, too, which is part of biohacking. And it's just amazing that you talk about the brainwaves and, just related to it. And I have to say is that, brainwaves, when it comes to biohacking, and you talked about it, but you try to get in balance, but what happens if they're out of balance?
Well, for instance, to give you an example, if someone doesn't have alpha brainwave activity, that's the one just below where we're talking right now. Hopefully people are in beta, but let's say that they go into alpha, they don't have any alpha, you would probably be in the spectrum of autism. Because if you don't have alpha, you're going to stim. If you've ever seen an autistic person who has too much energy, they're almost like they're throwing off energy off their body. That's because they're in high beta. And then they're going to disassociate when they're in high theta, but they don't have alpha. They need that mitigating one. So they're not going to have concentration, focus. They're not going to be able to identify. They're not going to be able to separate themselves from the world. And that's why a lot of times, if somebody that doesn't have enough alpha, then they could even hit somebody and cause harm, and they don't realize they're doing it. Now, if you have too much alpha, what typically happens is you then become attention deficit, because it's also a very when you're an alpha, for instance, that's when you're doing the things you enjoy. Let's say you like to garden or like to go for walks, ride your bike, play golf. Whatever you love to do, you're creating a lot of alpha brainwave activity, and that feel-good neurotransmitters come in. But if you get too much of it, it's always, we call it a symphony of brainwaves, that no one brainwave is more important than the other. But we don't really know we have that because so many people are going all the time. They don't take the time to do things that they enjoy. That's why hobbies are so important. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't have enough theta, which is the problem that I would say 1 out of 3 people have that you're seeing, those people are experiencing sleep problems because they can't jump from alpha to delta to sleep. Mm-hmm. We need to have all these brain waves. And then, of course, once you have all these brain waves working for you, you'll also stimulate gamma, which is a really higher state of creativity and thinking, which we don't see a lot in people, but we do see them in healers and artistic people. They seem to have more gamma activity. Delta is, if you don't have enough delta, your body will not rest, recharge, and revitalize. And that's why some people will sleep for 10 hours, but they don't get the rest and recovery they need because they didn't get their 1 hour or 2 hours of delta. You could sleep 5 hours in the night and get a better sleep score if you had 2 hours of that in delta. So at night, we need delta. While we're awake, we need more beta alpha. So there's different brainwaves for different things. If we're working out, for instance, I just wrote an article for Ironman magazine. If somebody goes to the store, they'll see it in the Ironman magazine, the weightlifting magazine, because when somebody's lifting weights, if they don't produce acetylcholine, which means if they don't relax and visualize those muscles growing, then what happens at that point is the muscles, if they don't have acetylcholine, they can't bind at the muscle right there at the joint where muscles and tendons connect. So the muscles won't grow. So these brainwaves are important in everything we do. And if we don't have them, then there's going to be something missing in those experiences. For instance, in a relationship, if we don't have balanced brainwaves, then what's going to happen is we might be looking for someone else to give us that feel-good acetylcholine, let's say. But then when the love leaves the relationship's gone too, because the person themselves doesn't have the brainwave state to manage their own state of mind because that other person's not providing them that. That's why codependency is so bad. When somebody becomes codependent, their body is now using an outside source to do it instead of them doing it from an internal source.
That was amazing, too. And there's a fascinating link between the brain waves and relationships as well, too, which is the science of love. And why is it important to balance the brain waves, improving relationships, especially with love life and romance?
Well, if you're in high sympathetic overload, which means you have high beta going, but you're in bed and you're trying to, have a intimate encounter, it's not going to work. You might be able to take the little blue pill or something if you're the guy, but it's not going to work because the body, they say the biggest sex organ actually is between your ears, not between your legs. So when people think about that, if we have a balanced brainwave, we can flow. Think of it, I call it Tai Chi for the mind. When let's say we want to do something creative and artistic together, or we want to go for a walk in the park, but one person in the relationship's talking about business and thinking about worrying about paying the bills and doing all those things, they're going to be in high beta, which is also throwing off neurotransmitters and those pheromones that are basically repelling people, while the other person might really be in love and they're feeling all good about it. But then when they come together, it's like a clashing instead of a melding. But if they're in the same brainwave and they're syncing, when you first fall in love, if you see somebody when you go out to eat and you see two people that are in love, you'll know because they're breathing the same, they're talking the same, they sometimes even have the same posture. They basically look like they're in a performance where they're synchronized together. But if they're out of sync, and that means if their brainwaves are out of sync, they're also going to have a clash. So we need to, if you're able to move these brainwaves, like for instance, get into bed and have the fun experience that you want to have, the loving relationship, that's only going to happen if you increase the alpha theta brainwave, because those are the feel good hormones, and they get everything else to work better. So that's the key. And I think the one big thing that happens in relationships is that nobody maintenances their brain or their relationships. They think, we're in love now, but now we're not in love. Well, that all takes work, and it all takes visualization. Because not only do brainwaves and visualizations make us feel better, they change our gene expression. They now know that through visualization and these relaxation techniques, we can actually change 1,200 different gene expressions. So we can turn gene expressions on and off that might be inhibiting certain things or expressing different things. And of course, we want to, when you think about, there's a saying, what you think about, you bring about. And if somebody's thinking about their relationship in a negative way instead of a positive way, they'll also bring that about.
That is amazing, too. What feedback have you heard for brainwave training affecting relationships?
Well, the biggest thing is that when we always recommend that they do it together as a family, or in the least that they should each do it in the morning or in the afternoon. But the biggest thing is that when you don't bring stress into the equation, think of stress like luggage that you're bringing from one relationship to the next. If you can leave the stress or the luggage at the door, then you can be present. So the main thing is that people say they're more present for me. We have a better experience. And if you really think about it, that's what happens when you're first in love. You give up a lot when you're first in love because that feeling, you want that payoff, that honeymoon effect. And you can create that every day. I've been married for 30 years and I'm still just in love with my wife as I was at the beginning. But I knew this going into it, that I had to do some work on myself as well as make sure that we're growing together. The old expression, it's not, love isn't looking into each other's eyes, it's looking in the same direction. So there's got to be that balance there.
And that's very important, too. And, of course, we'll talk about your books as well, too, that further enhance that as well, too. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public. You can also download and listen on iTunes, Google, and Apple. You can also check out our Facebook page, like we said, Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. Also, you can check out the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube and subscribe and take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile mobile device. We're here with Dr. Patrick Porter, the neuroscience expert and creator of the Brain Tap technology. He's author of Thrive and Overdrive, How to Navigate Your Overloaded Lifestyle, Mind Technology for the 21st Century, and the bestseller, Awaken the Genius. And let's get to some of your books, and maybe you can just, just how you got started in writing this material. Let's talk about one of your books.
Okay, so when we talk about Awaken the Genius, I created that because back in the early 90s, we were doing a lot of work with children. We still do, but we showed that just by spending 4 hours with a student, we could wake up their potential we took students that were C and D students, and with 4 hours of training, and they did it over the course of 4 weeks, by the end of the year, this was at a study we did with Pikeville College, by using mindfulness techniques and some other techniques we call Student Genius. So that book kind of outlines the program, how our brain works, why stress affects it. And then what I did, I have a lot of books that are for doctors and for things like that, but the ones for the general public, the other one is the Thrive and Overdrive one. So what I did 3 years ago, we wanted to update Awaken the Genius because it'd been, quite a few years. There was a lot more science out there. Mm-hmm. Back then, if you think about it, they didn't know the brain could change. They thought that once you were born with this, let's say you're a right brain person or a left brain person, or you had damage to your brain, that there was nothing you could do. Well, 10 years ago or so, they found out something called neuroplasticity, that the brain can change and evolve. And of course, stress causes the brain to either, stress can help us to learn and grow, or it can shut us down. So it's all in the way that our brain processes that experience. So what we do in Thrive and Overdrive, How to Live Your Overloaded Lifestyle, is we give you techniques, and that's the one the listeners can get for free. It's going to give you a series of techniques that can help you, and you don't need our equipment to do it. The book can explain it to you and help you get you out of stress. Our goal at Brain Tap is to help 1 billion brains, start to live a stress-free lifestyle. So, and we think that we can change the world at that point because we all kind of share an experience, a similar experience. So if we start to teach people that, yeah, we're going to have stress, we can't change that, but we can make adjustments to it. So one was, if somebody's a student and they want to learn how to wake up their brain for accelerated learning, then Awaken the Genius is the book for them. And it's available everywhere you can think of online. And then we have the Thrive and Overdrive, which they can get for free just by going to that braintap.pro, and they can download it and read it on their reader, their e-reader.
That's amazing, too. And your 2 other books, How to Navigate Your Overload Lifestyle, Mind Technology for the 21st Century. Just give us a brief synopsis on that one.
Well, right now, we're in the age of the brain. I mean, you go to the grocery store, you're going to see brains on the covers of, 6 to 10 magazines. And the biggest fear in America is not public speaking anymore. The biggest fear is that we're going to get old without our memories. So we want to talk about and show people that it's your lifestyle that's killing you, and you can make subtle changes to your lifestyle. And there's a lot of technology out there. Technology's caused a lot of the problems, of course. So we have to create a technological solution, because I don't think very few of your listeners are going to get rid of their cell phones or going to stop using the internet. We need to find solutions that work in today's day and age, and that's what we do. We go through there. We talk about a lot of the different sciences that are out there, what they can do that's no fee, what they can do if they want to go search it on the internet and find some technological solutions. We kind of did their homework for them, and they can read about it, and we've given them a lot of things that they can do just like we used to do with Silva. We didn't have machines back then, so we had to learn to do it like the old school meditation. So we still teach that as well. It just takes a lot more discipline, but that's what they can get for free when they download that book.
Mm-hmm. And not only this is also vital for relationships and also for like with overall health and wellness, but there's also not just stress, insomnia. It's also good for people who need to lose weight, stop smoking, manage pain, accelerate learning, and much, much more. There's a lot out there you can do with Brain Tap.
Yeah, we have over 800 different sessions that people can listen to. We just finished a series with Art Stills, that those from Kansas City know who he is because he's a Hall of Famer there. We did a program for football. We have programs for basketball, golf. We have programs for the soccer teams because we have a lot of pro teams that are using Brain Tap. And if somebody wants to, if they go online and just hit hashtag Brain Tap, they're going to see even Victoria's Secret models are using Brain Tap. We have We have 6 of their models just over the last 6 weeks that have been posting pictures. I don't know them personally, but they posted pictures of themselves using Brain Tap, because it's in UFC fighters. We have a couple of the top UFC fighters that have posted pictures because it helps with brain recovery. We do a lot with working with people after they've had concussions, because we got to get the brain back functioning correctly.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing, too. And, of course, we're here with Dr. Patrick Porter talking about brain tap technology, biohacking, and everything. We just have a few minutes here. You've been fantastic. Love to have you back on. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
I would say the biggest influencer early on was Richard Bandler, the founder of neurolinguistic programming, back when I first started doing therapy. As far as technology goes, I would think Nikola Tesla, even though I didn't meet the guy, but I read a lot of his books, and I was inspired by doing something different. When we created the first light and sound machine, there was no cell phones, there was no CDs. We were like bringing something from another planet. And now it seems like now's the day, because we have so many different evolutions of the Brain Tap. Now that we have one that I think is very stable and we can go out to the market. It used to be several pieces, and it was a lot of wires, and people didn't like that. So we've streamlined it, made it simple and easy. And I think that came from, I'm really a big follower of like Einstein, Edison, the inventors like that.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they appreciate the new mobile app as well, too. And
yes.
you create as well, too. And once again, explain the Brain Tap Pro and also biohacking just in general before we wrap up.
Right. So when you think of biohacking, think of what's going on in your life that you'd like to improve, or a problem you're having. There's probably a natural solution to help you to do that, but you just don't know what it is. And if you don't get your thoughts right, then it doesn't matter if you take care of the toxins and the trauma. We've got to get our thoughts right. So we believe that the first thing to fix is your thoughts. Get a healing mindset, or get a winner's mindset if it's in sports or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're talking about hacking. When you get a negative thought, we're going to teach you ways to get rid of that negative thought. Change that program, just like you would change a computer program. Mm-hmm. There's different things you can do like that. And then with the app, they just go to braintap.pro, and there's going to be a thing there. They're going to put in a 15-day free gift once they select the product, and they're going to get it for free. When they go there, all the instructions should be there. There's no credit card needed. Go there. The worst thing that can happen is you get a great night's sleep. So, go there, and sleep is so key. I can't say it enough. And usually for listeners, what I recommend you do is download the app, listen to the Go to Sleep program tonight before you go to sleep. And that's going to prove to you how powerful your brain is and how deep you can sleep and how much better you feel in the morning to come.
Mm-hmm. And that's something to keep in mind. And I'm going to do that as well, too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Well, the best advice is that there are no limits. There's only limits in consciousness. So become a no-limit person. And if there's a problem in your life, know that you possess the power to solve that problem. You just have to be willing to get outside your comfort zone and do something that you haven't done, so you get something you've never had.
That is amazing as well, too. And once again, Dr. Porter, a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. I learned a lot from you, and I'm going to start doing some biohacking and brain tapping myself and downloading and get myself a good night's sleep. And once again, what's your upcoming projects? What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can they purchase the books? And once again, and how can they download the app?
Right. Well, they can purchase the books on Amazon is probably the best way, because they get free shipping. And also they're available on Kindle, so they can do it there. They can get the free book by going to braintap.pro. Big things we got going. We travel around the country all the time. Like I'm in Scottsdale right now at an event helping people. But we have doctors, and we have 2,000 different clinics in America. So if you want to do brain tap, you can call our office at 302-721-6677, and we'll hook you up with a local doctor, where you can go in and try the headset if you want. It's one of those things where what you've heard here might be sounding like atmosphere to a fish, but if you get in there and try it, it's going to really help you out. So that's really big. And I think the app is our future, because we're in 40 countries, and you can download the app. If you're listening to this podcast could go all over the world. So no matter where you're at, if you got access to the internet, you can have access to this technology for free. at least for 15 days. So you can download it, use it, see if it's something that can help your lifestyle.
That is amazing. And I just want to say, Dr. Porter, a big thank you for your time. Love to have you back on soon. And, of course, I'm going to get some good night's sleep and download that and start working my brain here. You've just been fantastic. Looking forward to having you on again soon. And please do everybody a favor. Keep us up to date.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. Also, become a sponsor of the program or donate today at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of The Mike Wagner Show.